Hi Cancer, welcome to your reading. So stepping into your energy, it is, I would say, quite a challenging energy actually. And what I'm feeling here is, of course, like the collective Cancer energy. So you as an individual may or may not feel all of this within your life. But let me try to describe it a little bit. What I'm feeling is almost like a fragmented energy. And that gives me a lot of anxiety. It's like the feeling of not knowing who you are, the feeling of just being spread across timelines, different timelines, different times, living inside the heads of a lot of different people, but not really feeling home and at peace and at ease within yourself. That's the feeling I'm getting when stepping into your sign. And so it's quite a challenging feeling. It's almost like a whirlwind where it feels like it's difficult to remain grounded. It's difficult to remain calm. And it's difficult to remain in contact with the earth. That's what I'm feeling. So if you're feeling some of these feelings, I very much think that they are stemming from like the collective Cancer archetype. There feels like there's a lot of changes happening to that archetype right now. And yeah, let me show you the cards because I think it's easier to explain with the cards. You did get the oyster together with the rabbit. And this was kind of funny because it did come through in Capricorn's reading. Like you came through with a little bit of a needy energy, almost like a child. And Capricorn also got the rabbit. And in that reading, it felt like it was the child and it was kind of you. And so I do see that same thing here, that what I'm feeling is that there is some kind of a initiation, a birth, actually, I want to say, happening within the collective archetype of the child. And Cancer is the mother, we all know that, but it may not be so well known that Cancer is, of course, also then kind of like the needy child. It's like the unborn child or the very young child that still needs the mother to survive. And so that's what I'm feeling is very highlighted right now within your archetype. And I'm feeling that a lot of the anxiety is actually coming from this inner child, the rabbit. It's interesting because the rabbit also talks about abundance, right? It's like abundance for the future. And so I feel like these are very much linked right now within your energy field, that taking care of your inner child is really going to boost your potential for abundance in the future. And that's where I'm feeling a little bit of a challenging energy. So I don't know if you are experiencing this as an individual, or maybe you're seeing this in others. I'm not sure, but I'm just gonna speak as if I'm speaking to you just because it's easier that way. But what I'm feeling for this rabbit person is that it has a lot of anxiety. I'm feeling that beating heart of like, it doesn't feel like it's found its home. Like it doesn't feel like it's grounded. And when it feels all of this anxiety, it floats into its upper chakras. That's what I'm feeling. And so it thinks a lot, like spinning thoughts, but it also want to talk a lot. Like I feel like it really starts to cling to other people to try to get them to help it to figure out who it is and to find home in a way. That's what I'm feeling. And remember that this is the archetype of the child. And so it's absolutely natural for the child to do this. Our inner child, it needs a mirror to be able to see itself. And that's where I'm like getting this like, but where is the mother? Like, where is the inner mother archetype? Because she's not here. And so I do think that might be something that would be interesting for you to think about and reflect around, because it's like, it feels like the mother has been taken from the child are you aware of your inner mother archetype, and is this energy within yourself protecting your inner child? Like, one way you can figure this out is to observe when you do get anxiety, or if you do feel anxiety, or if you feel insecurity, how do you talk to yourself? Do you tell yourself that you have to make yourself feel better? Do you get angry with yourself for having anxiety and for not being able to do the things that you were thinking that you wanted to do? You know, do you see it as a liability to have anxiety? If you do, then it's almost like your inner mother is not supportive. You know, she's not warm. She's not giving light to the child. It's almost like she's constantly rejecting the child. And with that, you know, she's also constantly rejecting your future potential, you know, like the abundance for the future, your future life in a way. And so I feel like it's actually very important to be aware of this, because it feels like you can create a lot of, in a way, dis-ease for yourself if you remain in such a pattern. And so I definitely feel like there's something about, instead of being driven to go to others to talk and to ask them about their guidance and their opinion, to start to build up your inner mother, like build up your inner warmth. And that's when I feel like the oyster comes in, because the oyster is all about like energy healing. Really, it's like purifying the water, you know, purifying the old program of the mother within your mind. And again, this is very much collective, you know. Most of us, you know, when we grew up, we had to go to school and we were in a class with like a lot of other children, which meant that we were not mirrored one-on-one on a daily basis, like during our learning processes, during our processes of growth and like building our life up. We were not mirrored. And so it's very common today that we feel like we don't know who we are. We don't have this part of our mind developed because we didn't get that attention. You know, we didn't get that light as children. And so I feel like for me, it has been very important to be aware of this and to start to consciously awaken this part of my mind, you know, this reflective part, this mirror that knows how to see myself and my own potential and my inner child with just like compassion, you know, and love and understanding and warmth. And so I feel like if you feel anxiety, if you feel insecure, if you feel your beating heart, instead of trying to push it away and reject it, like alchemize it. Be the mother, add something to it, add compassion to it, add understanding to it, you know, instead of pushing the child away. I feel like there's something about like pulling the child closer and starting to show it abundance. You know what I mean? It's like showing your own neurons how to be abundant for the future. So that's what I'm feeling. So let's pull some cards as well and see if there are more messages coming through for you here. Yes, there's definitely something about, I'm hearing like the mother becoming less frigid, melting the ice, building warmth. Building warmth within, like igniting your own fire from inside. That's what I'm feeling. And also building that light within by spending maybe more time observing yourself, if this resonates for you. You know, the feeling of not really knowing who you are, or not really being able to feel yourself at all times. This is something that I think empaths struggle with a lot, that we don't we're not able to feel ourselves always. It's like other people kind of penetrates our field and comes into our field. And I think part of the reason why this happens again is that part of our brain that isn't mature. It's almost as if we have this part of our brain, you know, the I am part, or the feeling of who we are. It's not fully mature in the Western world. Like, that's what I'm feeling. It's like it's asleep. You know, our inner child, it's not yet that divine child. It's you know, which would be very abundant and very prosperous. It's more like it's stuck in a role of a puppet, actually, is what I'm getting. A puppet, yeah, like a doll. Is like forced to do, is like going through the motions, but not really being free to just be who they really are, because they don't know how, because it's just like we've just been stuck in these systems, you know, where we didn't really have the freedom to express ourselves. And so I feel like for many of us, this might be a time of deconditioning from that. And from, it's almost like we have to change our inner archetype of the mother from the teacher that never really had time for us to someone that is always there, if that makes sense, you know, to like an image of the mother that is always there. She's always compassionate. She's always willing to understand, at least. Yeah, I feel like that's gonna make like a huge change for a lot of people right now, actually. So like I said, maybe you're going through this yourself. Maybe you're helping other people realize this. There could be many different timelines here. Or it could also be that you're dealing, because there's not so many cards coming out, but still there's a lot of messages. So it's almost like I'm feeling like for some of you, you may not have been home for such a long time. I feel like maybe this rabbit is meant to be inside. Oh yeah, it's almost like a cancer shell. It's like this is the mother. This is the womb that can purify the water. And the rabbit is actually meant to live inside of the oyster. It's almost like the rabbit is the pearl, but it's been separated from the mother for such a long time. And because of that, it's almost like there are so many messages that doesn't reach your conscious mind. So many intuitive messages that are just waiting for you inside your oyster, like inside your womb, inside your subconscious. But because your rabbit is out, like in the upper chakras, out in the world talking to other people, is like you don't get them through yourself. And so it's almost like ending up in this codependent loop. And that's where I guess I'm feeling this whirlwind. Like it's almost like the feeling of not being able to choose when to stop, or to choose when to change, or to like, yeah, it's some kind of a feeling of powerlessness, being bound by the system, almost being bound by the collective. And so yeah, that is quite interesting, actually. That is quite interesting. Let's see if we can get some cards, though. Are there any cards for you? Yeah, I'm just seeing the ears of the rabbit is just standing up as if it's listening. And that's something that I feel like was a message for you, is like, stand still and listen. That's what I'm feeling like your guidance is. It's like, listen to the earth and listen to the water. Like, listen to your emotions, your emotional states, and listen to like the state of your body. Is it contracted? You know, if it is contracted, then maybe you're not. Then maybe there are things that you can do to relax it, so that the messages that I feel is inside here can start to flow more freely. Because it's something like, if the oyster is contracted, is kind of like bound by some karma. You know, it's a contract. That means that it's like, oh, it's done. You know, it's like holding on for dear life almost. And so I feel like there might be something also about figuring out how to start to soften and open, and when you do, it's almost like there will be so many downloads, so much information coming through for you, like so many potentials for the future. I feel particularly it's like abundance for the future that is just waiting inside the oyster. And so it's like when you're able to like support your body to get into the right state, it's gonna be like a well. That's what I'm feeling, just like a wave of information just coming in, and really, really like important stuff as well, like things that will change your life potentially and make your life, I feel like, really unique and special. With the child there, it's like building your own path, like creating your own kingdom is what I'm hearing. So I really love that, Cancer. There is a lot of potential here. Anything else for Cancer? I'm hearing you don't need the cards, so I don't know what that means, but it feels like it's all within you. It's more about just like getting yourself into the right states. That might also be something about moving for some of you. You know, 2023 is the year of Cancer. It's like a 7 year, so the Chariot. So maybe, I think for a lot of people, that might also be a time of relocating. Because again, there's also something about like the karma of lands. You know, if you're living in a place where the child is constantly being, in a sense, I'm hearing actually harvested, like where the child is constantly being rejected because the culture is that of like being so hard, you know, being so contracted, like, we just gotta be hard, push through. If you're living in such a place, then it may be even more difficult to actually have this type of breakthrough and change the inner archetype of the mother. And because it's like you have to withstand, you know, your entire collective. And because you're such an open and fluid sign, naturally intuitive, that might be very, very difficult in the beginning. And so that's why I'm feeling like for some of you, maybe it would even be beneficial to go to a place where there is more quiet around you, like where you're further away maybe from people, from crowds, from the collective. That may be for some of you. Anything else though? Yeah, it's also something about not, you know, the mother, the old mother was the teacher. That's what I'm feeling, like the old archetype of the mother was the teacher. And so when we were in that time period, it was all about like turning to teachers so that they could teach us. And we were also trying to be teachers. We were being taught how to be teachers, how to teach others and how to mirror others and serve others. But now I feel like there's a shift where it's almost like we're meant to turn towards ourselves and start to teach ourselves and start to serve ourselves. You know, it's like it's something that feels like a huge shift within our collective consciousness. That the mother is no longer meant to be like a teacher or a servant. She's meant to take care of her own inner children first, not leaving the home. There's something about that. So yeah, I feel like this may also initiate some societal changes, like, but I feel like for many it's actually happening within the self. And so it's not necessarily I feel like it's mainly about like not abandoning our own children. And I see these children, of course, if you have real children, but I definitely see like these children are metaphorical, like it's our inner potential that has not reached its full abundance yet. That's what I'm feeling, that there's like heavy guidance towards taking better care of. And again, there's something about like, if we don't do that, disease can start to manifest, because it's like, it's almost like we're not willing to protect the life of the future. You know, it's almost like we become this corrupted entity, and I'm hearing cancer. So I don't know, this is all symbolic. So like, I'm not seeing this as happening necessarily, but it's I feel like it's showing us part of some kind of natural cycle that happens, that when we stop listening to the sensations in our own body, and we refuse to listen to our bodies calling us to like, I need to rest, I need to process, you know, I need to purify, I need peace, I need quiet. Of course, it's only natural that we may not get the healing that we need for our bodies, you know. So there's also that's also another aspect I feel coming through here. So I don't know, can we get one card to finish this up? Is there anything else? Or yeah, I'm feeling the oyster is just like, nah, you figure it out. Okay, cool. 2 cards coming out. Underneath the deck was the Empress, so definitely the mother. And now I'm also hearing it's shifting the earth. And so I feel like, again, changing the archetype of the mother will shift your body, you know, the state of your body. And I'm hearing the abundance of your body. It's almost like it changes the DNA as well within your cells. If you allow yourself to experience specific feelings for longer periods of time, it's almost like that will initiate new genes, you know, turning on new genes. Because for instance, if you're like feeling anxiety, if you then also just create compassion for that part of yourself that feels anxiety, then it's almost like your body will read that as if this is a person that lives in the new time where the mother is abundant, and where the child is being seen, and where our divinity is going to be appreciated. And so let's initiate the bodily changes that comes with that time. You know what I mean? It's like changing from the inside out somehow. The cards that did come out was the 9 of Pentacles together with the Lovers. I feel like this is a mirror. This is really, I feel like this is also really about activating your inner mirror, like your inner twin flame, if that resonates. And this, I feel like, is very much about constantly observing yourself, like constantly having a part of your mind awake that is constantly looking as to what is happening within your body, particularly on the level of the earth, you know, the level of the senses and the level of the emotions. Because I feel like that is going to help you to ground, get into your lower chakras. And that is something that I really feel would be super, super beneficial for you. Again, it's about getting down to earth, down to the mother, down to the abundance. And also back into older timelines, actually, I'm feeling. It's like, because rabbits, you know, they create tunnels in the earth. And that's what keeps them protected a lot of the time. And so I feel like it's actually about going back. You may also feel like the need to step down. Stepping down from like something that takes you away from the home, that creates a lot of hustle and bustle, so that you can have more peace and quiet to see yourself and what's happening inside. That's what I'm feeling, because I feel like this is gonna create like a completely new life for you. Completely new life. Very transformational. So I'm gonna end the reading there. It was very interesting. A lot of changes happening for you. So I would say be very kind to yourself, compassionate, understanding, and see if you can create like some time to yourself where you can just reflect, you know, just mirror yourself. And yeah, I'm excited for your next reading. So take care until then, and goodbye.